So wouldn't it be great if we can all make $12 an hour starting as a high school graduate? You know, you graduate out of high school and then you make $12 an hour. Of course, it'd be great. The idea to raise minimum wage could possibly affect us though, which is something people don't think about. There was an author that I found an article. And the author of the article wrote, "A vibrant economy requires consumers who are able to earn enough to provide for their families, as well as employees who are able to make a profit." And this article is basically an opinion editorial that I found, which and then so he pretty much shares the thoughts of raising minimum wage, and he's supporting it. So according to the editorial, 75% of Americans support minimum wage, raising it. So this is definitely something that a lot of people support. Now, this possibly cannot benefit us at all, and the outcomes of it are not as bright as people think they are. And let's see. So he basically says that minimum wage, if we raise it, that it will help the poor avoid the loss of work interest, and it will boost the economy. So this is basically a hot topic that's a lot of people talk about it, and if we should raise the minimum wage or not. But there's a lot of problems that this could cause. So people want this minimum wage to rise because they want to supplement the poor's income. They want the poor to have more money. So according to the Pew Research Center, 14.5% of the U.S. population meets the poverty definition. So we have a high rate of poverty in the U.S. But raising the minimum wage would destroy the mid class, and basically the food prices would rise. The second problem, the author says that motivation will be lost. People won't want to work anymore. The motivation, since you don't make enough money, you don't make enough money to buy what you want, what you need. So they say, why work? But let's see. He's basically saying that people just stay at home. Unemployment rises and stuff like that because they don't want to work low income job. And this also, however, there's less interest in studying if people make more money as a minimum wage. I'll explain that in a little bit. Finally, the author says that it would boost our economy. He said that as long as, if we don't raise our minimum wage, that we're basically missing out on a great opportunity that, to boost our economy. So since there's going to be more money flow, there's going to be a better economy. Now, a wage minimum, if we increase the minimum wage, the prices will also increase. Now, this means that, people would have to get paid more, so the businesses would definitely have to raise their prices, because if they have to pay their employees more, then in order to make money, make profit, they would have to, raise their prices. So an article published on Forbes states that the city of San Francisco raised the minimum wage from $10.74 an hour to $12.25, which is a 14% increase. Now there was also a 10% increase on food. Now here's the problem. The poor, if minimum wage is raised, the poor will get more money, of course, than $7.25. However, you have to pay more for food. So essentially you get paid more, but you have to pay more for food. Not only food, but other goods. And this is where the middle class gets screwed, because the middle class will not get any raises, and they will have to pay, they will have to suffer paying more money for their food and their goods. So this is where the middle class, gets, screwed over. And some of the people, we have to keep in mind that they work very hard to go to the middle class. Once some of them were low income, and they worked very hard, promotion. So that's definitely on the list. Now, this the job, minimum wage, it's supposed to be a great entry-level job. It's not supposed to be permanent. Usually 16 to 24-year-olds work as a part-time, which can be a motivation. It could be a motivation for you to study, go to school. If you're working under harsh environments, you don't get paid enough, then it should be motivation for us to study, And the New York Post published that the Congressional Budget Office research concluded raising, if we raise the minimum wage to $10.10, we could lose 500,000 jobs. So This is definitely not, you know, what we need in this country. Now, as we could see, raising minimum wage is not the best solution. There's other ways to combat this issue. The first, you know, solution would definitely to leave the minimum wage the way it is. We don't need any, you know, raising of minimum wage because, like I said, it could cause problems. And definitely, the best solution is to just leave it alone, keep it as is. But another thing we can also do is we can give basic income to low wage workers after certain hours. So if they work, let's say, 30 hours each week, and they still make you know, not enough to live off of, then we can give them a basic income. And of course, the government will pay for this, and it will cost the government more. But after a few years, it will be self-paid because there will be less crime, like robbery. You know, people will have enough to eat. People are gonna have more money, so they won't have the necessity to rob and stuff, and crime will go down. So essentially, they don't have to pay as much, you know, law enforcement. It would also help the poor, and it wouldn't affect our economy in a bad way. As you can see, there's other alternatives to this issue, and not necessarily raising the minimum wage. Now, I think that raising the minimum wage would actually, raising the minimum wage, you know, like I said, people think that it will overcome poverty and our economy will be better, but it's definitely not the solution. There's problems to it, and I've you know, explained why. Prices will go up, and you know, it's just not the best solution. So this is something kind of that's, you know, people say too good to be true, and essentially it is too good to be true. Like I said, some people talk about it, you know, it says, oh, you know, the poor will have more money, but they never really see the outcomes. They never think about the outcomes. And this is an issue we can, you know, combat or just leave it alone, but definitely not raising the minimum wage.